Hello everyone, it's Lisa, Grace and Old Paper. I'm going to do a little more work on this altered composition book. I have spent some time going through a lot of my fabrics. I have a huge stash of fabrics and little fabric bits and all this kind of stuff. So I spent some time going through and making up some ruffles. I had to make all these myself because I didn't have any pre-made trims. The only thing I had was a little piece of this left that I have used on quite a few things, and I had some of this. So I'm going to, and the rest of these I have just made up. And what I do, a lot of people sew directly on the paper, and I just, with my sewing machine, I don't really like that because it messes with the paper too much. So what I do is I sew it onto a little strip of fabric, and then, paper, and then I will glue this, because when you glue paper to paper, it's there with this glue I use. It is permanent, so it adheres it really well. And so I have just made quite a few little ruffles to play with, and I will see, this one I actually made the traditional style by folding it over and doing a basting stitch and drawing it up myself, ruffling it up myself. The rest of these, I simply put some glue on the paper and then get the fabric and scrunch it as the glue's drying, and then hold it down for a second, and it makes a ruffle, and then I sew it. So that's how I did those. There was one of these, this one, I actually did kind of a pleated method. I'm not sure if you can see. See, it's kind of pleated, just for fun. Plus this was a stiffer fabric, so it did well with that. So I have all of these prepared to play with. I also have a few of these little squares of fabric. I've got a whole bunch more over there, but I've got a few of these in case I want to add maybe some tabs or something. But first of all, and I forgot to get the equipment out for it, first of all, I need to sew the papers in. Let me get my thread. And what I'm going to use is a wax linen thread. I just need to figure out which color. I seem to have a lot of the golden colors. It will not show out here. The only place it will show will be in here. So that's kind of what I need to have it kind of disappear on. Oh, I haven't used that before. That one's interesting. You know, I'm kind of liking that. It's kind of a dark gray. Let's go with that. I haven't used that before in anything. Oh, sorry about the noise. Meant to have that out before I even started filming, and I totally forgot. All right. So I have went ahead and punched my holes, and what I did was just made myself a little template on a scrap piece of paper. And really, I just, you can go to the trouble of clipping it in, but I just held it in because I was just doing a 3-hole, and I punched the holes through all the way through, so you can see the holes coming out there. Was it a little difficult because of the thickness? A little bit, but not terrible. And keep in mind, I have that joint that hurts, so I was able to do it. Let me get my needles. I have a collection of them. The thing is making sure that it'll fit through the hole. Let's go with that one. I got these a long time ago, as well as my awl and some of the threads and everything I use from Amazon years ago, and it was a bookbinding kit. So I'm going to do about 3 lengths and go with that. Okay. I have a bad habit of setting my needle down, and then I'm like, what did I do with it? Okay. My other one, I doubled this stuff, but then I got to thinking afterwards, I really didn't need to. This stuff is really, really, really tough. It's wax linen thread, really tough, made for bookbinding. Plus, I put duct tape on the outside of here, so it really holds it well. So I'm going to go out the middle, and for some reason it's not wanting to ring the hole. Okay, there we go. Go out the middle, you pull it, and you want to make sure you leave a tail so that you can tie it. And then we're going to go in the top, and this is where you want to make sure you ring it. And sometimes I find out I have to go back in here, kind of wiggle it just a bit to really make it to where it'll go through there good. There we go. Sorry, I'm not real good at doing this on camera because it's one of those things you just kind of gotta get in there and make sure you can see it and make sure you can feel it. Okay, and then we're going to come all the way down, and we're going to go out the bottom. Again, watch it that you don't pull that out. And now I'm going to go back in the middle again. Make sure you do not split the thread, which means don't go up through your thread that you already had out there. Again, this one's going to be a little difficult. There's just so much thickness in here now. There we go. All right, also, and you can do this afterwards. Some people really pay attention and do it during, but you can do it now. So what we're going to do, first of all, I'm going to remove these because I want to make sure I get these pages in there as snug as I can, and that's kind of holding it out a bit from the spine. It's kind of holding it, not letting it really dig in there. So what you want to do is you want to make sure one of these threads is on one side of this and the other thread is on the other, like so. Okay, I can go ahead and take my needle out. And while I'm at it, let me just put it up where it goes, or I will lose it on this mess of a desk I have going right now. Like I said, I'm a chaotic crafter, and I tend to get stuff everywhere. Okay, I'm going to try to really, really smush this stuff in there and hold it as best I can for just a minute. If I can get a hold of the thread. You know, when you start getting issues with that thumb joint, it really makes a difference on things. Okay, I'm pulling this just as snug as I can. I'll try to hold it and see how well I'm getting in there. See, it's still got a bit of give there that I'm really trying to get out. Could I have probably done it a little tighter if I had done a 5-hole? Yeah, probably so. But this is going to hold it really well. Okay, so now we do a good knot. Do it that way. Then do it the awkward way, which is backwards. And then I like to tie a third one. Okay, and that is as simple as that. That's all it takes. You can have these, leave them long and add beads to it, but I have just never personally liked that. So I'm just going to cut them off right there. You can also give them, if I could find my bone folder, you could give them a bit of a smush with your bone folder to kind of make sure it stays down. But that is as simple as that, and that book is sewn together. Actually, it's in there pretty well. I'm happy with that. Now we can add on the duct tape. And again, I'm going with this iridescent. I think I had trouble with this stuff adhering in the middle. I'm going to try something here. Because when I peel this stuff off, it just doesn't feel super sticky like a lot of duct tape does. So let me try it on a little piece of scrap paper here. Just want to see how well this adheres. Yeah, look, it just seems to be coming right up too well. So what I'm going to do is glue. We're going to glue. Okay. Alrighty, let's see here. And I do get a bit extra because I am going to cut it off. I'm going to stick it right here on my desk for just a second, and I'm going to get my Fabri-Tac. It is almost out. Probably should be storing it upside down right now. I know there's a way to thin it out just a little bit, but I've never been really great with that. It tends to, I've never really quite understood the mechanisms of doing that, and it tends to get really weird. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, I do need to see about how wide, so it does lap over the edges of this. And keep in mind, this is going to help really sturdy this up. It'll keep those stitches. Boy, that thread disappeared in the back of this, which is nice. If I was, not covering it, that would be really, really great because you just really can't see it. All right, now I'm going to go right up the seam. With my shaky, shaky hands. I'm not sure any came out right there. Yeah. All right. So now we've got some glue on there, which will help that duct tape stick. Right, so now I want to make sure I get this as centered as I can. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mash it in right here in the center. Let it adhere to that first. And then I'm going to fold this thing up and, get glue all over my thumb. Going to adhere it there. We're going to wrap it around and adhere it. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to have to put it over here on me so I can get to it. As much as I love this shimmery tape, I will probably not get it again because it doesn't like sticking as well as, say, my, this stuff. Boy, this stuff stuck really, really well. All right, I am kind of holding this on here just a second. Are these books ever meant to be 100% perfect? No. And that's the charm of them. Because they're supposed to be just really fun to use and fun to play with and fun to look at. Okay. Fabri-Tac, when you first adhere something, it is cold. And you know it's drying already when it gets warm, when it stops being so cold. Make sure I get those edges really well. I know this is a dull part of this, but it has to be done. Now, are we going to leave it like this? No. I am, and it'll probably one of the last things I do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to put some kind of trim here. Ribbon or some kind of pretty sewing trim, something like that. But I'm not going to do that yet until I get all these on, because I want it to go. It doesn't have to match, it just needs to go. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to trim off the excess. Which, again, forgive me for getting it close to me because I've got to see it. And it is hard to do sometimes. I'll do it from the inside, I think. Some people are really good at doing this on camera and keeping it all in camera, but I'm not. I'm going to have to put some weight on this and to really get it adhere. Not happy with this duct tape. So keep that in mind. If you ever want to use the iridescent sparkly duct tape, it doesn't really like sticking. Well, that looks terrible. Let's fix that. Why do I get so nervous doing these videos? It's an old saying that I've used quite a few times. Y'all don't know me from Adam's house cat, so I shouldn't get nervous. And if I don't like the video I put out, I can always just not upload it. But I still get nervous. It's like I'm standing up and talking in front of people actually in person. All right, I am going to go back here in just a little bit and really put some weight on this, because I want this to really, really stick good. And I noticed when I was bending it up here, or when I was cutting it, it was trying to come off. Looks like it's sticking okay right there. We'll see. Okay. Now, the fun part, or the nervous part for those people like us who have decision paralysis. Hang on, my daughter messaged me. Let me answer her real quick. Okay. So, now the part I'm on right now is adding my trim. I do want to have a trim on this first page, because you see this overlap. Over time, this is all going to change because everything's going to get all bulky. So what I want to do is kind of make that difference disappear. So I need a whole piece on the front as well as on the back page. Now, because I have this definite pattern, my matchy brain is having difficulty with it. Because my matchy brain is saying, hey, look, pink. You know, because there's pink on that paper. Which is okay. like this blue eyelet too, which looks really good with the paper. But I don't know. And I really love this, but the piece I had it doesn't cover the whole paper up, and I want the whole first page to be covered. I think I am going to go with the pink. Why not, right? I'm creating it. I can do it if I want to. This stuff is cut into little pieces, so you just kind of go through and straighten it a bit every so often. It is stretchy as well, but it glues really, really good. It glues really good. I've done it many times. So I think that's going to be my first one. So what I'm going to use is art glitter glue. Stuff works so wonderfully. And I am simply going to run a bead right down this edge. And I tend to like to do it a little bit at a time because I want to make sure I get it on there correctly. So I glue just a, now see, that didn't work well already. Let's put a little more. We're gonna hold that for a second. I'm not going to make y'all sit here and watch me do every darn page of this. I want to get a couple on here, though, so you can get the general idea. And really, once you put on the any trims you want like this, and then I cover that front and back edge up, that's really about all I do to these books. You can see on this one I use the gold rickrack. And you can see the ruffle I used there. Sit here and hold it still. Really kind of boring. For somebody to be watching me do it. I apologize. I just looked out my window. It is so gray out here today. I am not the biggest fan of winter. I'm just one of those people that I really find winter kind of depressing and sad. It looks so dull out there. I don't find beauty in the naked tree limbs. Like some people just love it and love winter. I do not. My soul yearns for spring. I love the fresh green of spring. One of my favorite days in the whole year is when the fresh green has popped out, and then we have a good soaking rainy day so that the tree trunks turn all dark, and the leaves are, just popping with color. That is one of my most favorite days. I will just love to just sit and look at that. It's just, to me, so beautiful. Me and my girls always say God paints pretty pictures, and it's true. It's very true. And for those that love gray, God painted a pretty picture today. I'm just not one of those people. So to me, when I look out my window, it's kind of like, meh, not exciting. If y'all haven't used art glitter glue, let me tell you, you're missing something, because that is the best glue. And do I worry about getting this perfectly straight? No. Again, part of the charm. Just stick it and go with it. You know, I've seen people online that have found antique, vintage scrapbooks that people have put together. And used to, people, they were like huge photo album type things, and people would just glue in mementos of their life, you know, birthday cards they had gotten, invitations they received, snippets out of newspapers, fabrics, pieces of fabrics from some of their favorite dresses or blankets or quilts, you know, any of that kind of thing. And they were when you see one, they're the most fascinating things. And did they worry about perfection and making it artistic? No. They just put stuff in the way they liked it. And to me, that is just really the charm of the whole thing. I've got a cookbook I did that with. I keep trying to decide whether to actually list it for sale or not. I had done a flip through at one point in time and some little craft with me videos, but I took them down because I've still been thinking about this book, and I modeled it after that. So I may decide to do something with that, but it's modeled along the same thing of just put stuff where you like it, do it the way you want it. Okay, well, that ended up perfect. I had this piece left over. It was a piece of scrap, and I have used this on everything from a Christmas journal that I made for my daughter to different projects. I think I put it on another journal too. I just love this stuff. I got it from Walmart. I might have to go back and get some more. Okay. So there, let me find my pin from my glue, because this stuff, you cannot leave it uncovered. It will start setting up so fast in the nozzle. Okay, so now you can see how that covers that edge up. I love the floofy. Love the floofy. I probably could have brought it back on the edge just a little bit, but that's okay. I like it. And then I'll have to do the same with this side. And the coloring here is a little different. See, here's got more of the pinks and purples. Over here it's more of the warm tones. This might actually look good. Let's see about that. Which side is sticking off more? This one. It's not going to stick out as much because of my paper. Yeah, I may not do that one. Let's see. What if I did this one? I have to see where I stuck, where the paper's at. Hey, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? What do you think? Now this is where my problem lies. Yeah, I think it looks great with this cover. Do you see my problem? But it's still fun, right? Because you should know by now what my brain is telling me to do is this one. And it's still not bad. It's not bad. Okay. It's not bad. Looks really good in there. But I also still like that. You know what? Lisa, get out of your comfort zone. Go with this one. It's okay. It's okay. You can do it. You can do it. All right. So this one's a little easier even because it is paper to paper. So all I've got to do is just make sure a wrinkly paper. And let me tell you, art glitter glue sets up really fast with paper to paper. Really, really fast. Like by the time I get down to the end down here, or even halfway down probably, it is already stuck. That's why you have to, not leave your lid off too long. You can already see it's gumming up at the tip. Yeah, just throw it down. I always tell somebody when I tell them about art glitter glue, stick it like you mean it. That means put it down the way you mean for it to go, because it don't like moving. I'm just using such good grammar today. It don't like moving. It does not like to be moved once you stick it down. Like right now, let's see. If I mash that for just a second. Yeah, it's already sticking. Yeah, that's going to be perfectly. Okay. And boom, 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 just like that, that is done. That's another fun thing about putting the ruffles on the paper, is that I can keep them and use them for other projects if I don't use them here. And they just stick so quick and easy. And it's just done. Oh, that's really kind of cute, isn't it? Now look at that. Do I wish I had backed that one up on the page a little bit? Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay, Lisa. I'm liking it. So now I'm just going to go in, and I like adding them to these pages, the ruffles, because these are a little thicker, sturdier, and this is where you just have fun. You just decide, I'm going to cut this one off just a little bit. You decide how long you want it to be. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. I think I'm just going to use a piece of this one. See? And if I just don't overthink it, if I just go with it, that's what will be awesome. I think I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to put it on here. I'm only going to do about half of it. We're going to get that stuck down. Well, I should have started with the other end, because I don't want to have the paper hanging off the edge if I can help it. See, just like that, it's sticking. And boom, voila. It also kind of gives you a little tab. All I did with mine is I tore the fabric. This had a finished edge, but I just tore the fabric, and when you tear fabric, it usually goes along the grain, and so it makes a straight tear. I didn't feel the need to hem anything or anything like that. Let's do, I like this yellow. Do we like the yellow? I think I like the yellow. I want it all to look fun. It's going to be very raggedy because of the edges, because I don't have a lot of sew-in trim right now that is not ribbon style. You know, that does ruffly. I have a few. Ooh. Could use that instead. Put the lid back on your glue. Put the pin back in it while you're thinking. Again, decision paralysis. It's an enemy of mine. I would rather the yellow somewhere else. Oh, you're pretty. This is where I kind of sit and play with the colors a little bit. I do like this stripe too. The only place I don't really want to put anything is the center. I could put it on the outside, but I like the center. Leave the center alone as much as possible. I have seen people use pom-pom trim on these, and that's fun too. And I just don't personally have any. I like that. Maybe. This yellow tore really raggedy. But what you can do is you can just go in with scissors and snip some of it off if you want. That's looking pretty good. I feel like I missed a page somewhere. No, this one. And while it is bulking the edges up. That's okay. Because you're going to fill this book up with stuff, and it's going to bulk up anyway. Oh my goodness, look at all that color. What do you think? I think that may be the way I go with it. All right, I am not going to make you sit and watch all this. The trim, I may have to go buy some trim to put here. I don't have anything currently that I really like. I don't think. I don't think I had anything I really wanted to use. I have racks and stuff like that. No, I didn't like any of that. I am going to have to go buy something. But you can get the idea of how really pretty easy these are to make. Gosh, I wish I had some trim out. Let me stand up just a second and get my trim container out. I did not have my ducks in a row this time, apparently. I just decided, hey, let's film a video. And then didn't get everything together. Silly, silly, silly. Okay. I have an old sewing cabinet or sewing box, and this is what I've got my sewing trims in right now. I want to find me a jar that these will stand up in to put them in, but the jars I had they weren't tall enough. Okay. If I can get the lid to stay open. I could do something as simple as this. And all you do is you just glue it down on that edge. That's actually kind of pretty, isn't it? So I've had that. I also have it in a purple, but I just didn't like the purple with it at all. Or you can use something like one of these. Well, that's kind of bold, isn't it? See how it looks on the back. It's a maybe. Kind of has a, I don't know, oriental look to me. So that's a maybe. I could also, oh, I also have this pink color. No, nope, nope, nope. Nope, that won't work either. See, I'm just not having anything I like. I could be really crazy and go with something like this. If I hadn't have used the pink, if I had used some of the warmer colors on the edges, that would probably be pretty good. So I'll have that. No. See, this is my thing. I don't have anything I really, really, really want to use. No. Most of these are just not good. I could just do with white. And that would do in a pinch. Okay. I have just some thinking to do. So, I'll get back with you on that. I may pop on here for another quick update and add it on to the end of this video. So, sorry, I think I was half off the camera there. Okay, so I'm going to sign off here for now and try to get this finished, and then I will come back on here in just a bit and show you what the finished product looks like. Okay. Okay, I finished it, finally. So I decided to do this dark teal green bric-a-brac. I thought it picked up really well in there. My problem was the front had a lot of the cool colors to it, and the back had more warm tones. So most of my trim would either match one side or the other side really well or look good with it, but it wouldn't with the other. So I thought this did really good. I've got all my trims. I did decide to pull this off carefully and re-adhere it a little bit further back because I didn't like the way I had it. So it sits a little better now. I don't know if you can tell a difference, but I can. So I ended up with that. And then I've got my pages. And then I have this little piece here. And then again, 4 pages. This trim. 4 pages. This one. And there are 4 pages. I did not put any trim on the center. I just love this whole thing right here. Thought that ended up really pretty. And then of course the 4. That one. I did this little piece of trim here. Just because I like it. Thought I'd add a little fun element. This one. This was actually an old shirt, which shows you can take all kinds of fabrics from all kinds of things. It wasn't like a purchased piece of material. It was an old men's shirt, button-up shirt, and I just took it all apart and kept the big pieces of fabric out of it just because I liked the fabric. So comes in really handy though. And then the last 4, and then that. So that's our book. It's all done. I did have to work hard on this stuff here. Let me tell you, I will never use that stuff again. Somehow it adhered pretty well on the inside, but for some reason I couldn't get it to adhere. So I finally had to use art glitter glue and go in and really put a bunch in there and hold it down for quite a while and to get it to adhere good. But it's stuck now, so she is all done. So now I have 2 of these things, and not sure what I'm gonna do with them yet, but they're fun to make, and I will probably make some more just because it's fun. And you know, when you've already got all the the bits and bobs, like I used just fabric scraps for that, and I already had, you know, the book pages, which you could use scrapbook paper as well. Not, you know, not children's book pages. You could use maps if you wanted to do that. Map pages would be really pretty on there. Just all kinds of things. I have seen people use magazine images. I've seen people use the pretty images that come on a calendar. Just all kinds of things. So it really can be inexpensive to make and just lots of fun to do. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this little series. Not sure when I'll be back on, but I'll try to think up something new to do and get back on here pretty soon. But for today, may God bless you and keep you safe.